right. Oh, amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to start in a few minutes. I'm so glad to see so many people on YouTube here. This is our very first live, as I said. And okay, I think, let me start over. So welcome back to Bake It Up. This is Lorena, as you know by now. And today we are live on Instagram, and for the first time we are live on YouTube. I'm so happy. All right, let's get started. Today we will be making mini pizzette. Okay, it is the perfect how can I say, recipe for what we call in Italy aperitivo. In Italy we have aperitivo around noon. This is the reason why we are having these classes a little bit earlier. And what happened is that on top of our aperitivo, that can be aperol, can be crodino, San Pellegrino, we have some appetizers. And one of those, it is usually mini pizza, what we call pizzette. So what we are going to make today, it is exactly that kind of pizzette. Super easy to make, super quick, does not require any proofing time. They are ready to put in the oven in 10 minutes. So if you want to have those pizzette before dinner, for brunch, with some friends, on a party, barbecue, anything, this is the perfect recipe for you. Oh my God, look at that. So many people. Thank you guys so much for joining me on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the notification bell, because new workshops are coming up every Sunday now, guys. So don't miss it. Timing is great. Let me turn on the oven at 250 degrees Celsius, okay, or 500 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, it has to be high, and those pizzette are going to bake in just 8 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, so make sure that your oven is hot enough. All right, let's get started. So the recipe for the mini pizzette is mini pizzette recipe. We need 200 grams of milk. Use milk. You can use water if you don't have milk, but please go with milk. Then we are going to use today quick yeast. Okay, so we are not going to use just a regular yeast, but we are going to use this one that does not require proofing and a lot of resting. This is why we will be able to make this pizza right away in the oven just after 10-15 minutes rest. So then we need 1.5 teaspoons of sugar to feed the yeast, and then we need 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 300 grams of all-purpose flour, and that is it. If you know what flour 00 is, Italian flour, even better, you can use that kind of flour. All right, otherwise, there you go, someone just posted the recipe. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. All right, so let's get started. As I said, this is a very easy method. There is another recipe on the channel for a very fast pizza, but this is even easier, so you can watch the other one too. You can get your pizza done in about 20-30 minutes. You can also watch that one. All right, guys, let's get started. What I will suggest you, if you have a stand mixer, will be best. Otherwise, it takes a lot of work and a lot of kneading. Okay, so if you want to do some workout with your, workout for your arms, you go ahead and you do it by hand. But otherwise, just stay with your stand mixer. All right, so we are going to start by adding flour. We are going to use a hook attachment, a little bit of salt, and I believe we have a question already.
Yes, so there is 2 questions. Someone is asking if 500 is Fahrenheit or Celsius.
500 Fahrenheit and 250 grams Celsius.
Okay, and the other person is asking if quick yeast is the same as instant yeast.
It is, so let me explain this about yeast because I know that can be confusing. There is instant yeast, which is so we have three kinds of yeast. We have fresh yeast that we are not going to use today, and then we have dry yeast. Dry yeast comes in two different forms, which is instant yeast, and then you have quick instant yeast. It is exactly the same, beside the fact that the quick yeast has a consistency, it has a more fine texture, and it dissolves easier. This is the reason why we don't have to add this one in the water to dissolve, but we are going to add quick yeast in the flour. Okay, so in the flour here in this bowl, I have flour, I have salt, and now we are going to add our yeast. That in this case, as opposed to the other recipe that is on my YouTube channel, that is on the channel, it doesn't go in the liquid to dissolve, but it goes in the flour. This is the difference between those two kind of yeast, and the fact that your dough proof easily and it does not require a lot of rising and proofing. This one is going to be ready in 10-15 minutes, just the time that the dough relaxes. So, and then we are going to add to our milk, we are going to add a little bit of sugar that is going to feed the yeast. The reason why we are going to put it into the sugar, it is because it's going to dissolve easier. Okay, looks like we have another question.
So they're asking which brand of yeast you're using and if it is from Ontario.
I use what is very popular in Canada, which is Fleischmann's. I should have, there we go, this one. Okay, this is the brand that I am using. All right.
And then somebody else is asking, I have an older mixer, no dough hook. Can regular beaters be used, or is it dough too thick?
I will do it by hand. Be patient, be patient. Yes, sorry about that. Downtown life. So, okay guys, once again, we have flour, yeast, and salt. And we are going to mix it a little bit with the whisk, just to make sure that everything is completely combined. And then we are going to add our liquids. Before that, after we start, sorry for the noise, and from now, if you have any questions, go ahead, because I have some time.
So somebody's asking, if I have instant yeast, I can just put it in milk to proof first?
You don't have to. This is the good thing about instant. So if it's instant yeast but not dry, but not quick, yes, it has to go in the liquid, whatever water or milk. You have to dissolve it. Yes. In this case, because it's a quick one, you don't have to. It is very fine and it goes in the flour.
Then somebody else is asking if you heat the milk or is it at room temperature?
The milk can be either or. I always suggest to go with room temperature or slightly warm milk or liquid, because accelerates the proofing time. This is the reason why we go with the warm. So this is still very loose, as you can see, and you keep going until it comes together, and I'm going to show you in a moment. So while we wait for the flour to be completely combined, you want to make sure also that all your ingredients are ready. What I have here is tomato sauce, any kind of tomato sauce. If you find the San Marzano kind of tomato sauce, even better. So Okay, this is coming together. I don't know if you can see the dough here, but it is not nice and smooth. So you want to keep going until it cools away from the bowl. It is called clean stage. And at this point, you let it go for a couple of minutes. If you have a stand mixer, if you have a KitchenAid, and you let it go at medium speed until it is nice and smooth. Do we have a question?
Yes, somebody's asking how many pizzette will be able to make with this recipe.
I would say around 18, 20, depends on the size.
And then they're asking if the water used was half a cup of milk.
Sorry?
Was it half cup of milk that you used for the recipe?
200, it is a little bit less than a cup of milk. Yeah. A cup of milk, it is 240 grams or 250 milliliters. So this is 200, so it's a little bit less.
Also, they're asking if you can use whole wheat flour.
No, to stay with this recipe. And the reason is that usually all wheat flour requires more water. So guys, what I want to say that is very important here, this with anything when you work with flour and when you work to make bread, to make pizza, every time you work with something that has flour and water, the recipe can be the best recipe, but be prepared to adjust the recipe, because depending on the kind of flour you are using, the flour requires more or less water. All wheat flour usually requires way more water, and even if you do all-purpose flour and bread flour, there is a difference in the liquid. If it's humid outside, you might need to adjust the water. If it's rain, if it's very dry, you might need more water. So this is a great recipe, but be prepared to adjust it. What you want basically, it is a nice and smooth dough, workable. For this recipe has to be a little bit sticky, okay? And there you go. All right, the bowl has to be completely clean. That means that your dough, it is ready. At this point, let me move the KitchenAid away. We are going to talk more about the ingredients that we are going to use for the topping. So at this point, what do you want? Grab the dough and you knead the dough slightly. And how you do the kneading, you grab the top of the dough and you fold it to the bottom, and then with the bottom of your palm, with your palm, you push the dough away from you. Now you rotate 90 degrees and you fold it again from the top to the bottom, and you push it with the bottom of your palm. Rotate, fold it, and push it. 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 So at this point, you should be getting a nice and smooth dough, okay? Baby butt, that's how we call it, all right? You tackle the dough a little bit to the bottom here, and you make a ball. And now you can put, if you wish, a little bit of oil just to make sure that it doesn't dry. But keep in mind that this recipe, it is made and balanced in a way that the dough doesn't have to rest for 45 minutes or for an hour or until double in size. What we want instead, it is the dough to rest. With all this agitation, we develop gluten. You develop gluten when you combine together water and flour. Plus the agitation, you develop gluten. The more you work the dough, the more you develop gluten. Now, if I try to stand this dough here, it's going to pull back. And because the gluten is very strong at that moment. And this is the reason why when you make any kind of dough, bread, pizza, everybody tells you, let the dough rest and then you can work it again. Or let the dough rest and let it rise for 1 hour and a half. That 1 hour and a half step, we are not going to go through that step today because of the recipe and the kind of yeast we are using. But what we want is to let the dough rest, okay? And this way we can roll the dough and we can start getting the shape that we want. So this is going to rest for about 10-15 minutes. And yes, you want to cover it anyway. You want to make sure that it's away from any draft. In a bowl, on the table, whatever you want. We are going to put it on the side here. Yeah, can you turn the volume a little bit lower? Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's see if we have a question, and then we are going to talk about ingredients and what we are going to use today, different kind of tomato sauce and so on. Okay, who's with me? Questions, please.
Okay, so there is some people that want some clarification.
Yes.
As in, Teresi asked, just to be clear, is it flour, salt, and yeast in the blender and whisk? The milk is room temperature and sugar is added to the milk.
Perfect. You got it. Perfect student. Perfect student. Yes.
Somebody else asked, her name is Marcella. She asked,
Yes. Hi, Marcella.
did you save a bit of liquid in case is it too much liquid? Sometimes flour absorbs more or less.
Yes. I know already the kind of flour that I'm using, but I have to be honest with you guys. I have purchased, compared to other times that I make this recipe, because this is the one that I make, that I'm sharing with you, I use a different kind of flour this time, and I struggle. So yes, when I tried to perfect the recipe yesterday, I had to adjust it. The other week I had to adjust it a little bit, and the recipe that you have is perfect. To me, this is the reason why I didn't have to add any water, any liquid, or any milk, okay? But you guys can keep the milk or the water aside, some 2-3 tablespoons. I wouldn't go with more than that. And if it's more, not a big deal. You just, and then you can add it, okay, if needed. If you see that the dough is a little bit, it looks dry, you don't want to wait the last minute to add the water, okay? So worst case scenario, if you added too much water, it's never too much water for the dough. It just becomes a little bit more difficult to work the dough, but it just becomes a dough that what we call is with a high hydration. So more water, and it gets too technical, so let's stop there. Bottom line, this is the perfect balance. This is the perfect amount. You can add 2-3 tablespoons and keep working the dough, okay? So it's totally up to you. Who else we have?
Teresi also asked, is it 300 grams of flour?
300 grams of flour, yes. Okay, guys, ingredients. We are going to stay with very classic topping. And for us, we have the marinara and the mozzarella one, margherita, what we call margherita. Pizza margherita, in Italy, it is tomato sauce, mozzarella, and basil. And then we have marinara, which is tomato sauce with oregano and or acciughe, that is up to you, and or garlic. I like it with garlic. So I usually, when I do the sauce with tomato and oregano, I usually add a little bit of garlic. So the different kind of tomato sauce you want to use, it really depends on you. Best will be for any pizza, a good pizza, to use San Marzano, but we are making something simple today. Don't go crazy. This is super easy and super simple, okay? Just grab some tomato sauce, and then you want to add a little bit of pepper in it. You want to add a little bit of garlic, a little bit of basil if you wish, and then you blend it, okay? A little bit of salt, and then you blend it together. And this is ready and perfect to put on top of your pizza, okay? Here I have some oregano. I suggest you to buy the oregano in BRUNCH, the one that gets dry and you can use. It smells completely different. If you can, don't buy things in the bottle or something. It tastes anything but oregano. You can find usually those in Italian stores, but I suggest you to use that kind of oregano, like the actual bunch of oregano. And then you can also add a little bit of parmesan on top, okay? Just to give some extra flavor. Once again, those are for aperitivo, and you can add, that being said, you can add anything you like, all right? So here we have, so now this has to rest at least 10-15 minutes. I will say 10 minutes should, 10-15 minutes should be enough. It depends on the temperature. And actually a little trick is you can also put it in the refrigerator because cold helps to relax the gluten as well. So I made this one a few hours ago. It rested longer, and this is the reason why it's pretty big, but you don't have to wait until it reaches this kind of stage, right? Make sure that you have some flour. You dust your table with some flour. All right, and put it on the table here. And here we have our dough, which is, it was in the refrigerator. It is nice and cold. But as you can see, if I try to pull the dough, it doesn't spring back, pull back. That means that it is completely relaxed and it is ready to be rolled with a rolling pin. Yes, we are using a rolling pin today. I don't like to roll the pizza with a rolling pin, but we are making pizzette. It is a little bit different, so we are going to use a rolling pin today. Because once again, I want this recipe and this pizza easy to make for everybody, all right? And then you roll the dough. See how it stays? Once again, it doesn't pull back. Let me move the KitchenAid away here so we have more space to work our dough with. So guys, what I wanted to tell you is that on May 19, what I was anticipating before, on May 19 there is a class, 1 hour and a half class, and I am going to show you how to make Italian pizza, or what is called Napolitan pizza, which is a different kind of recipe as well. And I will show you how to make Napolitan pizza and also focaccia. I don't know if you ever made focaccia. That is another kind of pizza that we use as appetizers as well. You can cut it in small pieces and you can have it as appetizer, or you can make sandwich with that. I'm going to show you how to make the red pizza, the red focaccia with olives, oregano, and the white focaccia, which is absolutely perfect for sandwich. As you can see, this was fully rested. This is what I'm talking about when I say that it's important to let the dough rest. Doesn't have necessarily to rise, But resting it is very important, otherwise it's gonna drive you crazy to make those pizza and to roll the dough. So let's get going. So guys, I have my oven at 250 degrees. It's super hot here. I don't know if you can see it. This is getting, oh my goodness. So what you need is just a baking sheet pan, and I will suggest you to put like a parchment paper. And if you want to make sure that the parchment paper, it is sticking. Let's see if I have the no stick spray. It is some, there you go. Thank you, doctor. Just, whatever. Just spray with some don't stick spray here, just to make sure that the parchment paper stick to the bottom of the pan. And now with just a simple glass, this is the perfect size, all right? We are going to cut those pizzette. But there is something else that I want to show you. So just stay with me, that is quite important before putting those pizzette in the oven or putting the topping. That is going to make your pizzette great. So, what kind of topping do you like? How do you like your pizza? What is your favorite topping? Let me know. To me, I have to tell you something about my favorite topping. It's not popular here in Canada, but I'm gonna tell you which one. My daughter is doing, she's saying no, it's not popular. You know which one it is?
Yes, of course I know.
Which one? Let's see.
Prosciutto, rucola.
Nah, that's your father.
No, that's yours.
No, no. That's your dad, daughter.
No, my father is Alberto.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you which one. So my favorite is very, very simple, because I am simple, but it has the main Italian ingredients, and it's called Regina, which is made the topping of the Regina pizza. It has mozzarella di bufala, buffalo's mozzarella, pomodorini, cherry tomatoes, mozzarella, and shaved parmesan, and some basil on top. Is the easiest, but is the most delicious, because you find the best buffalo's mozzarella only in Italy, in Naples. And shaved parmesan, seasoned 36 months, and cherry tomatoes and olive oil. Ooh. I wish I was in Italy right now. If Marianna is watching me, my best friend, her father has the most popular, she's my best friend, and her father has one of the most popular pizzeria in my own town and in Brescia. They know which one I like. Every time I go, if I want to keep it easy, then I go with oregano, tomato sauce, and garlic. Again, I'm simple. So, but let me know which one is your favorite. Which one is your favorite pizza? Oh, I wish I was in Italy right now. So, what else? With those parts that you are, how do you call it? Scraps?
Scraps.
Great. God. Scraps, you can reuse it, okay? But almost nobody tells you. It is to poke the dough with a fork. So you poke the dough a lot in the center. So first of all, you can also make it a little bit bigger, and you leave the edges out, and you stretch the dough slightly, because this dough, it is absolutely perfection. Okay? Or you can use a fork, but I still highly recommend to use a fork just in the center. You leave the edge out, and just in the center. In this way, the dough is not going to make any bubbles in the center, and you are not going to have a weird shape. So at this point, we are adding our sauce. When I want to kill myself with the super unhealthy topping, I didn't forget to tell you which one. I usually get 4 cheeses, 4 formaggi, which is mozzarella, ricotta, blue cheese, and what else? Provola? And
parmesan.
Heavy cream and parmesan. All the kind of cheese on that pizza. It's called 4 formaggi, 4 cheeses. So basically the main one, which are parmesan, blue cheese, ricotta, and mozzarella. If you go to Italy, ask for that. Can't get it wrong.
We have quite a few questions.
Yes, go ahead.
So, Loria is asking if for how long she should be knead the dough before putting it to rest.
If you do it by hand until you reach a nice and smooth consistency, be prepared. A good 10-15 minutes. It's a long time. If you have a hand mixer, once you see that the dough has pulled away from the bowl and has a nice and smooth consistency, it's good. You let it rest even in the bowl if you wish for a good 15-20 minutes. Just again, because we want the gluten to relax, okay? Otherwise you will not be able to roll the dough as I did. If you see that it pulls back, it means that you have developed a lot of gluten, or the flour has a high protein content, so you develop a lot of gluten. Then you have to let the dough rest a little bit longer. Okay, perfect. We put some tomato sauce on top, and I'm going to add on some mozzarella. Mozzarella, if you use fresh mozzarella, guys, make sure you let it drain. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of water on your pizza. You don't want that. Or you can use what we call dry mozzarella. It is a little bit more firm, and that will be an option. And on top of this one with mozzarella, I am going to add a little bit of parmesan, just a little bit, to give some extra flavor. Here. And some tiny, beautiful, fresh basil that you can add later, or you can add just a few minutes after you bake them, but it takes 8 minutes to bake. Then you will see they are going to be ready very soon once I put them in the... I'm going to show you how they look like once they are baked. Okay, I will also add a tiny bit of pepper, just a tiny bit, just to give some extra flavor, but that it's up to you. Once again, those are pizzette, it's aperitivo, so you can play around with that the way you want. If you make Italian pizza, you have to watch what you are making on top, because we are very particular when it comes to topping. Italian pizza has a certain topping. You don't put pineapple, you don't put crazy things on top, okay? You want to keep it traditional, because we like traditions. Is that a question?
Yeah, so Marcella also asked earlier if, sorry, I gotta find the comment again. If she wants to add olives to the pizza, do you add them before the oven or after the oven?
Before. Once again, it takes 8 minutes to bake them. So if it has to stay longer, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, then your olives might become dry. So you want to wait. You bake your pizza for 10 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes you add mozzarella, you add olives, whatever you want to add on top. Garlic. So otherwise, you can add it in In this case, you can add it before. Yes, one more question.
Yes, she was also asking, this is an old question, but she was asking if you can say the brand of the flour you're using.
I am using, in this case, I'm using Robin Hood. Good question, because
Is
so
it all
you know,
purpose?
all-purpose flour. Yes, yes. Good question. So you know that this is the one that works pretty good with me with this amount of liquid. But keep in mind, if it's humid, if it's an old flour, if it's dry outside, if it's very hot, if it's winter, it might still change. Okay, so just keep an eye on it. And then, guys, when it comes to baking bread or pizza, keep trying, have fun, experiment, try different kind of things and see how it turns out. You can still adjust it. Okay, yes, one more question.
So there is two questions actually. I'm gonna summarize it in one.
Yeah.
So one person was asking about freezing the dough, and somebody else is asking if they can freeze the dough with the toppings already on it.
Yes, you can freeze the dough with the topping already on it. Why not? Freeze it, put it on a baking sheet, freeze everything. When everything is completely frozen, you can put all of them in a plastic bag. If you don't want to shape them, if you don't want to put the topping on before the dough rise, put some plastic wrap around and put it in the freezer. Okay, don't let it rise. Once after you mix the dough and you knead the dough, don't let it rise. Don't let it rise. Put it into some plastic wrap, Ziploc bag, and you put it in the freezer. Let me add, before the next question, let me add a little bit of oregano on this one, where I added a little bit of garlic, same tomato sauce, a little bit of garlic, and now I'm adding oregano. I love this one. This to me is Italian pizza. It smells, it tastes delicious. And something else you can add, it is anchovies and or capers. That is another great combination. My daughter is laughing. Yeah, she knows she doesn't like it, but she's laughing. But yes, guys, that is another amazing combination. Capers are not my best, and anchovies too, my favorite topping. But that is also very, very popular. Also because when you put it with oregano, I can guarantee you it tastes absolutely deliciousness. So, guys, if you want, keep it very, very simple. Once again, you can add any kind of topping. I am going to show you how are going to look like in a moment. You can add a little bit of oil on it. I just don't want to do too much here. There we go. So a little bit oil on top. If you didn't add any salt in the tomato sauce, you can add salt as well. And I think that we are good to go, and we are ready with some questions. They are going to be, so I'm going to place this one in the oven. You will see 8 minutes. They are going to be ready. If your oven is very hot, 250 degrees, okay? Celsius, or 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Let me put this one 8 minutes, and I just want to say again, thank you so much for being here with me today. Go ahead with the questions.
Okay, so Heather is asking, can this dough be made in the morning and put in the fridge until ready to use?
Absolutely, yes. This is exactly what I did, and it works great.
Belsay said, how long do you let the dough rest?
10-15 minutes. It is enough.
Mas is asking, can I make normal pizza with it?
Yes, you can. Why not? It's going to be soft and a little bit spongy, which is not exactly the kind of Italian pizza. But yeah, sure. Try it, and if you like it, that's an option. Yes, for sure.
In that case, would the temperature of the oven and the cooking time the same or different?
Temperature is always the highest of your oven. Time, yes, it changes a little bit. I would say 15 minutes. 15, 18 minutes. When the crust looks nice and golden brown, is ready. You can check the bottom. Just make sure that your pizza is at the lowest rack in your oven.
True Light is asking, can we use burnt garlic?
Burnt garlic? You can use whatever you, I don't know how burnt garlic is, what that is. I don't think I've ever had that, but yes, absolutely. Yes, why not?
Irene is asking, she would like to know what kind of herbs you used in the Ziploc bag.
This is oregano. So when you buy the actual oregano, how do you call it? Il mazzo? I said it before, now I can't remember.
Me neither.
BRUNCH. Oregano's BRUNCH. I threw it away yesterday. Unfortunately, I cannot show it to you guys. But you will see an actual branch of oregano dried. And you just squeeze that branch and all this oregano will come out. And yesterday I cleaned up that branch because I usually keep the branch, and it was a little bit left, and I put it in a Ziploc bag. But this is oregano, and it smells oregano. When you buy the oregano in this kind of containers here, better than nothing, that's fine, but to me it tastes more like tea than oregano. So
a lot of people are saying that they love your workshops.
Thank you so much, guys.
That they're enjoying it, and they're thanking you.
Thank you so much. It means so much to me, and thank you for everybody is joining me today. We are waiting for those pizza to be ready so I can eat, and my daughter. Did you have lunch, daughter?
No, I haven't. I knew it was
Hai
gonna
mangiato oggi or no? She came to help me out because she heard that I was making pizzette.
No, that's
she
not
came
true.
today. She came today to help me out. That's not true. She really never had time. She works a lot. She's studying a lot, and actually she's done with studying now. She finally done.
That's why I'm here.
And that's why she's here to help. Ooh, they are. Ooh, wow. Okay, how much? They are ready. What?
Nothing.
Okay. My daughter is having fun with me getting so excited about the class. Yes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Every
Well,
time she gets surprised about things working out, but they always work out.
All right. Well, because you never know, baking, it is always like a big question mark, right? There are so many things that can change even if you use the same recipe. So guys, those are ready actually. I think I put them a little bit too close because usually I use a bigger baking sheet, and they are ready. I'm taking them out. Stay with me, and let me see. I have to grab here. Oh, it smells so delicious. It smells delicious. 8 minutes. Set it, and that's how it is. Let me show you. Woo, look at that. Oh wow. Oh wow, 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 wow. Actually, I want to show you them. Look at those. Did you like them? Let me see likes, more likes. Let me see how many likes I'm going to getting. I'm going to be getting over those pizzette. Come on, look at that, guys. It smells so good. Just please try them. As you can see, it takes 5 minutes to make the dough, and it takes 10-15 minutes resting, and then they are good to go.